Hello, everybody. I guess they're letting anybody lie about anything on TV these days. I guess everybody is following along with Mark Zuckerberg and doing away with fact checkers because there were some demonstrably false statements on this HBO Max documentary, girl. I mean, I don't know what happened to the fact checkers. Thank God I recorded my portion of the video so that I can clear my good name. I mean, I told them I was doing so. I had permission to do it. So I mean, now they acting mad like I'm going to do exactly what I told them I was going to do, but I told them I'm not staying here and doing this interview unless I can record it because I don't trust y'all. I mean, that's pretty much what I said. And they were like, all right, let us call the CEO. They called Naima. I had to sit there and wait. I'm sitting there waiting. I need to be able to record. Come to find out they let people lie about me. And so I just want to address some of the lies that came out in this documentary and which were not fact checked. And I've already gotten a threatening, bullying email from the Hot Snakes people talking about, don't release anything. You signed a contract. Somebody needs to tell them contracts require consideration. I guess nobody ever told them before there was no consideration. A lot of y'all are saying, I hope you're getting paid royalties. I hope they're paying you. No, they're not paying me. Like I told y'all, my reason for going on the documentary, like I've already said, I've already told y'all this, but just to reiterate, when I found out about this documentary, it was already in production. Shannon Evangelista from Hot Snakes Media had already posted online that the documentary was in production. They had already interviewed with Lima, Bam's family, and I think Steve-O. It was already in production. And it was supposedly, allegedly about the Free Bam movement and Bam's controversial guardian. So I suspected at the time, and you can go and watch this video, it's still public, that this was a paid for hit piece against me and in favor of Lima. That's what I suspected. I reached out to this documentary production company. I told them that I thought it was very suspicious and strange that they were making a documentary about my movement that I founded and created and led successfully. By the way, Bam is free from Lima. So it was a successful global socio-political human rights movement. They could have focused on that. They could have asked me questions on how to lead a movement. I mean, this is my second, third, fourth. I don't even know how many I've done now in 5 years. They could have asked me about that. I don't even remember. Again, I do have it all recorded, so maybe I can go and refresh my recollection with that. But I thought I would take this opportunity. And I mean, you know, it's really endless how much content I could make on this. It's endless how much content I could make on this because there were so many lies and there was just so much false information. And frankly, I do hope that other documentary companies pick this up and actually do try and tell the real story. It doesn't surprise me that the production company that did the Natalia Grace story and the production company that did the Framing Britney Spears documentary might have missed some pretty important stuff. But what does surprise me is the fact that they literally aired false, defamatory statements about me. I know how particular these documentary, I'm not even going to call it a document. It's not a documentary. Documentaries are supposed to be arriving at the truth. They're supposed to be looking for the truth. So I'm going to call this a reality television production. But this reality television production clearly wasn't interested in searching for the truth. That's what it looks like to me. And this is some of the examples I'll give y'all because you don't even need to take my word for it. First of all, Beth Karis couldn't even figure out whether or not Amanda Rabb was in a conservatorship or not. There was a time where I believed Amanda Rabb was in a conservatorship under Lima. During this time, I was not finished watching all of the Mark Laita Lima Yevrimovich videos. But within very short order, I ended up finding out from Lima on the Soft White Underbelly Mark Laita channel that she failed to get Amanda Rabb into a conservatorship or a guardianship, which are the same thing.
And say that if we were willing to take responsibility, so basically myself, willing to ensure that I report everything to the courthouse and make sure that Amanda doesn't violate anything and ensure that she follows court order, that they would consider giving her a mandated 1-year plan, which would be the essential path of an LPS conservatorship.
Beth Karis wanted to act like I was wrong on that. No, I'm not. They are the same. Some states call them a guardianship. Some states call them a conservatorship.
Everyone was like, oh, you can't help her. She doesn't want to get better. Leave her alone. What we were trying to do was file what's called an LPS conservatorship. It's the equivalent of a guardianship in, in the grand understanding. It's that.
And insofar as there was ever any type of implication that Lima had a financial conservatorship over Bam, I've never made that statement. So if anybody said that, it wasn't me. Do I think she could have? Sure, she could have. I don't know. But I've never said, oh, Lima had financial control over it. I've never said that. I suspect she might have. There is that whole discussion about a trustee that Stephen B. Timmer had with the police in Pinellas County.
Okay, who are you to him?
I'm an interventionist, and I was hired to get him to treatment.
Okay,
So
you were hired by
by the trustee. There's a trust. You'll see a trust. He has a guardian, and
Gotcha.
the guardian hired me to get him help.
Okay.
I don't know whether she had a financial guardianship or not, but what I do know, and what Lima has stated, is that she did not have a guardianship over Amanda Rabb. But Beth Karras said unequivocally as a statement of fact that Lima had a guardianship over Amanda Rabb and that Amanda Rabb was in a guardianship or a conservatorship, whatever the name is in that state. And the fact that Beth Karras could get such a fundamental fact in the story wrong after this thing has been in production for like 3 years or 2 years, it really calls into question what else she got wrong. And I can tell y'all there's some other stuff wrong on this documentary, but not necessarily that Beth said, but that was allowed to be said by Lima, by Linda, and by Dahlia. I believe that very important context was left out, and so I'm going to present it to you here now. For example, let's start at the top. First things first. Lima, Linda, and Dahlia have made similar false allegations about me in court in several jurisdictions. Lima has made the same false allegations about me in court in New Jersey, federal court. Her case has now been dismissed twice. She made similar false allegations about me in California. So when she lost the first time she lost that case and I won, it's my belief that she retaliated against me because she lost. It's my belief that this whole lawsuit, conundrum, saga, was for the purpose of using it in a documentary. That's my belief. It's my belief that it was funded for the purpose of defaming me and for the purpose of putting Lima up on a pedestal. Now, to be fair and to be clear, Hot Snakes denies that suspicion. They have told me that they don't accept money to do stories. They are only looking for the truth. But their behavior and their actions belie that. Indeed, and in fact, whenever I told y'all the same thing I told Hot Snakes, that I'm going to be releasing the recordings that I took, because the only reason I sat down with them and talked to them at all is because they allowed me to record it. I sat there in the chair and I said, I don't want to start until I have permission to record this because I don't trust that I'm going to be painted in the right light. Now, some of y'all might be saying, well, if you already didn't trust it, why did you sit with them? You knew they were going to do this. Exactly. I knew they were. So I could let them do it. And then whenever I got mad about it and said they lied about me, they could have easily said, well, she didn't sit with us and do an interview, so how could we know? I operated in good faith, trying to tell them my side. Lima has attempted to get these false claims substantiated by any court in at least 3 jurisdictions, and if you count Brian Kuchar, 4 jurisdictions in 3 different states. Every single attempt in over 2 years has failed. Not only has it failed, not only have I won those lawsuits for harassment, defamation, libel, slander, all of that, Lima lost so bad, she owes me money. She owes my lawyers nearly $100,000 in attorney's fees, and Lima was sanctioned. Sanctioned. I find it to be interesting that wasn't mentioned in the documentary. Put a 1 in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you also find it interesting that Lima making these same false allegations in legal documents have all been dismissed. There's 1 pending, which they did say. Put a 2 in the chat if you find it interesting that the only part of the lawsuits they mention is that one is, quote, pending. You know what the pending is? Lima's 3rd amendment to the same lawsuit that's been dismissed twice. And it wasn't just dismissed on 1 little tiny ground. No, baby. It was dismissed on 2. Now, she has a lot of nerve making these false allegations on TV with no proof, because in court, she also provided no evidence for her false allegations. And did you know this? Lima helped her sister Dahlia try to also get a restraining order against me. And did you know this? That one got dismissed too. That one was a slap suit too. And Dahlia owes me money. in attorney's fees. I shouldn't say me. I should say my lawyers. She owes my lawyers money. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Lima, I have emails to show it, and they have been publicly filed. They're public documents. They've been publicly filed in court. Lima was in coordination with the process servers, with my lawyers for this Dahlia restraining order. It's my belief that Lima was acting as if she was an attorney trying to get this restraining order. None of that was mentioned. None of that was mentioned. None of my defenses to the lawsuit were mentioned. The fact that Lima lost, the fact that Lima was sanctioned, the fact that Lima owes my lawyers nearly $100,000, the fact that Dahlia lost, the fact that Dahlia has to pay my lawyers money. If you think I shouldn't try and collect my attorney's fees from Dahlia, donate to the legal fund. Until then, I'm going to have to do what I'm going to have to do. Okay. Now, the second set of lies had to do with a certain so-called That Surprise Army. Now, if you are familiar with my channel, if you've been following me for maybe the past year or so, then you will know I have always denounced That Surprise Army.
It was just blah, blah, blah. BJ harassed by sending other people. No, I didn't. That's a lie. First of all, it's not true. It's just not true. But even if it were true, you got to get a restraining order against the person who actually came after you. There's just no way that I, doing nothing, can be restrained from talking about somebody. It's just the question of the year. Get the restraining order against the person who threatened you. I think I've made it very clear and very public that I do not condone that type of behavior. And so recently there's been other issues going on with, I don't know, I think there was a Discord created, and y'all might have noticed I never went into that Discord. There was a That Surprise Witness Reddit community created. I did not create it. It is not mine. Maybe Brian created it because he does own a company called That Surprise Witness LLC in Georgia. Maybe he created the That Surprise Witness community on Reddit. I don't know. I don't go on Reddit too much. Actually, I actively try to not ever go on Reddit. I don't like Reddit. I don't like Discord. Want to know why I don't like Discord? Every single creator who I know personally has had issues with Discord. Everyone. Because what happens is it starts and it gets infiltrated. And then the infighting starts. Now, I learned my lesson very well in the Free Britney movement. I continue to learn my lesson from it. You can go into a movement with the best of intentions, and the people who start it can have the best of intentions. But once people's egos start to get in the way, and once the cause that you're working on is important enough, infiltration happens, people who flip happen, people who sell out happen. I do not have any time for that, any desire to be involved in it. When people try to tell me, oh, so-and-so is talking about so-and-so, I will literally not respond to it. I do not care. Y'all are grown-ups. If y'all can't sort out your interpersonal relationships with each other, you have more work to do. It isn't my job. It isn't my desire to be involved. My desire is to report on the investigations that I find and give y'all my commentary. I want nothing to do with drama. I want nothing to do with disagreements, and I want nothing to do with Discord, pun intended. The name of the app is Discord. Do y'all know what the definition of Discord is? Look at this. Let me show y'all the definition of Discord real quick. Y'all see this? Discord, noun, disagreement between people, lack of harmony between notes, disagree, okay? I don't want nothing to do with no Discord.
There was some talk about a Discord server, a Discord where all these degenerate freaks would go and collude and conspire to do crimes, none of which I told them to do because, as you will note, there was absolutely no allegation and no proof at all presented whatsoever that I've ever spoken to any of these degenerate freaks. Okay, so I don't know who these people are, but Lima does. Lima actually has one of their numbers. Just about a year ago, Lima was calling one of them during a live stream.
I have duct tape on my I have a thing for duct tape, just so you know. Might just duct tape your mouth shut. Me, mama, moo. Yeah, the headphones are on so I can hear a script through the headphones because people are speaking. I'm not gonna be able to be spoken to right now. Wait, no.
Were you talking to me?
Yeah. Did you know? Well, I'll tell you when I get back. Coconut kills fleas on contact. Y'all, I can't hear y'all speaking to me. So I have to have my headphones on so I can hear you talk. But I can't find the diffuser. I'm gonna. Hello.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
you were so sweet for that last message.
Aw.
Oh my gosh, that means so much to me. You have no idea.
Jamie Gilmour Gilmore. Lima has her number. Look, here's Lima calling her. And not only that, but all those admissions to doxing and all of that, they were memorialized by Jamie Gilmore in a declaration presented to a court under penalty of perjury. Not too long after the declaration was presented under penalty of perjury, Jamie Gilmore emailed my lawyers recanting her declaration, saying that that isn't even what she wrote. She said that Lima Yevrimovich changed. Jamie Gilmore said Lima Yevrimovich changed her declaration.
All right, so on November 30th, I believe it was the 30th, I had already received a draft of the declaration that I guess it's just a regular copy and paste thing. But I opened it up and it was like the kind of document that you aren't supposed to really do anything with. So what I did was I copied the thing and I pasted it as a draft in my email so I could read it from my phone. And I had forgotten all about it until yesterday. And I have a copy of that. It's pretty much the same as the end result.
Jamie Gilmore also showed up to a court date on Zoom to say this, to say to the court that declaration that they're using to try and take some action against BJ. She showed up to Dahlia's court hearing on Zoom. Jamie Gilmore, the girl that they're claiming I somehow directed to do something, she filed declarations against me in court. Now, here's something else very strange about the Jamie Gilmore thing. She admits in the documentary, in my opinion, you can tell me if you disagree, but it appears to me that Jamie Gilmore admits to criminal activity on camera, doxing. Now, I never told anybody to dox anybody. And indeed, and in fact, as you can see down in the scroll bar below, and as I do all of the time, I encourage people, do not even leave a nice comment, I've said. Don't leave any comments. Don't go to anybody's house. There's another girl, Brennan, who apparently, I don't know, I guess wasn't in the documentary. She went to tour the apartment building where Dahlia and her mom were living. Through investigations that she did her own self, she figured out the address and then she went to tour the apartment building. But before she did that, she posted about it. She was like, I'm going to go tour the apartment building. And I said, don't do that. I said it publicly, do not do that. I sent her a DM privately, do not do that. So I'm just finding it hard to understand why none of that was included in the documentary. I also wonder why it was not included in the documentary that those degenerate freaks actually have bullied, harassed, cyberstalked me.
Anyway, moving on to tomorrow, which is an announcement I want to make that BJ lost her court case tomorrow. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. So, BJ, you won the sanctions. You won the court case. Tell me, why are you so damn angry?
Those people are my harassers, my stalkers. I've never spoken to them. I've never logged into that Discord. I did not start that Discord. There is no approved That Surprise Witness Discord. I did not coin the phrase That Surprise Army, and indeed I disclaimed That Surprise Army. But yet Lima was allowed to spew the false statement, the lie on camera that I'm leading That Surprise Army. Y'all, I never was leading That Surprise Army. And indeed, and in fact, most creators have a Discord where they communicate with their fans and stuff. I don't. I don't even have the basic bare minimum communication channels established with my fan base as most creators do. Rabbit has a Discord. I mean, every creator has a Discord. I don't. And yet still, I was blamed for this random Discord that isn't mine, that I've never logged into, that I disclaimed. This was over a year ago. I said, I disclaim That Surprise Army. Please do not contact anybody or send any messages to anybody. That is not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to report on an issue of public concern. The purpose of this video is to provide opinions and commentary and reaction on issues of public concern, and hopefully to initiate some type of investigation. And I am not going to stop in that mission. There is nothing anyone can do or say anywhere on earth that will stop me. Nothing. The only thing that is getting done by them around like this, acting as a damn fool, is they're pissing off the Lord because I'm God's favorite. There's nothing that can stop me. I don't know how else I can put this for y'all. I am on a path to do my mission. And until someone is investigated appropriately for what has happened in these situations, then I won't stop. I've never, and I will never, instruct anyone to go follow someone, to share private information. It has always been my practice to redact addresses, social security numbers, whenever it appears like it is some type of home address. A business address, I'm not redacting. That's public. That's a public business. I can't even begin to describe to y'all the amount of painstaking hours, the hours of my life that I've spent just on doing redactions, crossing out, blurring out, deleting entire videos, putting them back up, re-exporting. I mean, there is no way to describe to y'all how much effort I've put into redactions, including Dahlia Dia. Now, that public body camera footage that I did share, I'm not sorry about, because in that very same public body camera footage, the police officer told Linda Omar, this is public. Linda said, please don't make this can go public. And the police officer said, it's public. When you call the police, it's a public record.
Yeah. And you know your girls are safe. Yes. Here's the thing. I know. But here's the thing. When you call the police, this is public record. They have to request it. So they would have to send something to my supervisors to request my body camera footage to see this. They can do that. People do that. But it is my knowledge, based on everything I've looked up about this whole situation online, she doesn't know your girls are here. Okay. And I'm going to do my best to see to it. Now, if I take her to jail tonight, that's very public.
I'm not sure why the documentary didn't mention that. The third big category of interesting oddities, in my opinion, has to do with Amanda Rath. Now, this really is the heart of the case. And Beth Karras, she said that she didn't understand. She just didn't understand what my obsession is with the case. I don't understand what your obsession is with the case, buddy. Haven't y'all been working on this for 3 years? Haven't y'all been hiring whole camera crews and documentary companies and in and out of my inbox, pestering me to death, trying to get me to come back interview after interview? I had to go ahead and tap in my lawyers so they would leave me alone. Why are they so obsessed with this case? Why are they so obsessed with this case? I can't possibly understand why. Maybe it's clout. Maybe they're just obsessed because of clout. I mean, that's pretty much what they painted it to be for me. And I got to give them the benefit of the doubt, because I do think that once you are in this demonic up industry long enough, you do start to lose your true moral compass, and you just start to align your compass straight to money. Money is north, and money. That's what I believe Steve-O thinks like. I believe that is what Mark Lata thinks like. Money, power, money, power, money, power, money, power. That's my belief. So when a Beth Karras comes across saying she don't understand how somebody would want to get to the bottom of how a homeless woman died in a VR tech entrepreneur's care whenever it wasn't presented truthfully to the public, I mean, I can't help you. We just different types of people. Because to my subscribers, who are not a cult, by the way, but to my subscribers, we're curious. The public was enlisted to provide donations for Amanda Raab's treatment. The public was enlisted to supposedly, purportedly vote on who should get the treatment. But that story has constantly changed. Did they vote? Did they go with who the public voted for? Or did Mark Laita suggest it, as he said in the reality show that just aired? Amanda Raab died at Desert Hope Treatment Center. She died from cardiac arrhythmia. That is what the autopsy result says. To this day, no one, including this reality television production, has explained why Lima said she was reading word for word of what we got on a video called Autopsy Results, talking to Mark about autopsy results and saying if there was more evidence, it would have been marked a homicide.
All right, Lima.
All right.
Welcome back again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We haven't seen you in a while.
Yep.
So we finally, after how many months now? It's been like...
It's been since
9 months or something?
April, May.
So we have the autopsy results for Amanda.
Yes, we do. And so I'm just going to read it word for word of what we got. The cause of death was marked as a seizure disorder, but they couldn't mark it as post-traumatic epilepsy because of a lack of evidence. So if the traumatic brain injury and the assaults were well documented, they would have most likely marked it as a homicide. So that was a major wake-up call for all of us.
Why didn't the documentary just play that extra 30 more seconds right there? If there would have been more evidence, if there was a lack of evidence, if there was more evidence, that would have been marked a homicide.
If the traumatic brain injury and the assaults were well documented, they would have most likely marked it as a homicide.
They were fully aware that Lima had said if there was more evidence, it would have been marked a homicide. Didn't bother to mention that part? Wonder why. It's weird. Very weird. But now y'all see why I recorded it. So yes, Beth, I still have questions. That's why I'm so obsessed, because somebody died. Lima said she was going to read word for word of what they got in a video called Autopsy Results. And then she read not the autopsy results. Mark Laita said it himself. Mark Laita proves my point in the reality show himself when he says, I still think to this day, still people, like nobody really knows what happened. Ding, ding, ding. Beth, hello, legal analyst of the century. Do you need a brain scan? Do you need to retire? You don't understand why somebody with the background I have would be curious to find out the truth about what happened to Amanda and about why they didn't tell the true cause of death? That's confusing to you? You might need a brain scan. You might need to consult Dr. Buzzmangan or Dr. Amen, because it's very clear to the hundreds of thousands, millions of people who have seen the Amanda Raab story exactly why I continue to ask, why haven't we gotten the true explanation? Another thing that the reality television production left out was the drugs in Amanda's system. Now, they did kind of mention it. They mentioned gabapentin as a way to substantiate Lima's false claim that Amanda Raab died from a seizure disorder. She did not. She did not. She died from cardiac arrhythmia, obesity, hypertension, and schizophrenia as complicating factors. Beth forgot to mention to the public that Lima told everybody Amanda had no drugs in her system when she died, except Tylenol.
Well, I know that they did a toxicology report. All she had in her system was Tylenol.
And then unfortunately, she passed away at the facility.
Yeah.
She'd had so many physical issues prior that, it kind of caught up to her, unfortunately.
They just found her, and they did a toxicology test, and she didn't have anything but like Tylenol in her system. So
the way I look at it, and her father, who I'm very close with now, looks at it, is that she was ready to go to God, and she had done what she needed to do here, and she was going to make a lot more waves up there with her story, and she wouldn't have to worry about the struggle anymore.
Amanda Raab had no Tylenol in her system when she died, by the way, but she did have a lot of other medications.
All she had in her system was Tylenol.
So these are reasons why I'm mentioning to y'all. These are some of the reasons which made me concerned and still make me concerned that Lima had said if there was more evidence, it could have been marked a homicide. That Lima had previously misreported the drugs in Amanda Rabb's system. The fact that the video was called Autopsy Results. The fact that Lima and Mark spoke about the autopsy results before Lima said, I'm going to read word for word of what we got. And then instead of meaningfully engaging in that topic and really digging into Lima, why did you not read from the autopsy results? Instead of really digging into Mark, why don't you change the name of the video even today? It's called Autopsy Results. That's the name of the video. All of my reasons for concern, all of those reasons for concern and more were left out. And it's not that they were just left out. They were left out in order to craft a false narrative that I am an unhinged lunatic who's just guessing that something's wrong. No, I'm not. Something is wrong. And Mark Leta admitted it. He admitted it in the documentary when he said nobody actually knows how Amanda died. We don't actually know. Okay, so then why were you so sure it was because I passed drug use? They don't. Again, am I that worried about it? No. The truth is going to be the only thing that stands in the end. After I'm gone, after everyone's gone, the truth remains. And then they tried to make it seem like my audience was some type of cult. They explicitly stated that I was a cult leader. Somebody I've never spoken to said I was a cult leader. And they didn't, I don't know, I mean, did they ask that man if he'd ever met me? Did they ask that man for a receipt? Did they ask me if that man was a stalker? I mean, I have never met this man, nor do I ever want to be around him. And I've said that publicly many times. Many times. I've actually said publicly before this documentary even came out that I am happy with my life. And if something happens to me, I made a list of people to look at. This degenerate stalker with the dreadlocks, he was on the list. This degenerate was also on the list. Before the documentary came out, I'd called those people I was afraid of, people I've never spoken to. One of them, I've had to block her email address because she wouldn't stop emailing me. I never responded. Then she started emailing my lawyer. This is stalker behavior. This is harassment behavior, in my opinion. Finally, we need to talk about the twins. Now, it was presented in this reality television production that I am somehow the reason why one of these twins ran away one day and that she was repeating stuff from my videos. Okay, great, fine. Let's start from the beginning. Did you know Lima's sisters had been both to 60 rehabs at least before I ever found out they existed? Did you know that before I ever found out they existed, one of them had already run away and it was reported on the news?
A desperate search is underway for a woman who went missing in West Hollywood. Dahlia Takali was last seen yesterday around 5 p.m. on North Genesee Avenue near Santa Monica Boulevard. She's 30 years old, and the Sheriff's Department says she is developmentally disabled. Takali's family is very concerned for her well-being and is asking for your help. If you see her, you're asked to call the LA County Sheriff's Department.
Did you know that there are public lawsuit filings between these two sisters alleging that there is some serious violence going on in the house? All of that happened before I ever knew they existed. Did you know that Lima actually used her public Instagram account to enlist the help of the public to track down her sister? One of the sisters had run away before I ever knew she existed. So these sisters have a propensity to run away. They just run away. What are they running from? That's my question. That's my question. Now, put aside for one moment that I've never seen ever a video clip of Dahlia Dia and Lima all in the same room. Never. Never. They've been working on this documentary 3 years. They couldn't get one shot. I renew my question, where is Dima? Where is Dima? These twins been having serious problems since before I knew they existed. And they both been running away since before I ever knew they existed. This is public record because Lima made it public and because the news made it public. So it's just very convenient now that I'm asking questions such as, where is Dima? And I am asking questions such as, why didn't they truthfully, accurately report to the public how Amanda Rabb died? Why didn't she read word for word from the autopsy results? Why did she present to the public that Amanda had only Tylenol in her system? And why did Amanda Rabb, a 25-year-old, die in treatment? Because Lima keeps saying it's because she had traumatic brain injuries. That wasn't reported in the autopsy report. Tulsa, Oklahoma Police Department did not take Dahlia Takali seriously whenever she told them she doesn't trust police officers because they don't listen to her. She doesn't trust police officers because they don't do their job. Because she's been trying to get her mom arrested, she said, for 2.5 years. She didn't have access to a phone. How could Dahlia have watched my videos if she did not even have access to a phone to know what day it was? In the Tulsa police body camera footage that I obtained as a public record, Dahlia does not mention me one time. This is like an hour of footage, 2 cameras. She doesn't mention me. She doesn't mention YouTube. She doesn't mention YouTubers. She doesn't mention anything about That Surprise Witness, BJ Investigates, BJ, that girl, nothing. She blames Linda Omar, her and Lima's mama, for her problems. And she says the cops are to blame too because they don't listen to her. If I ever again come across footage of the same type, I will again share that public information with the public. Because if I was screaming and pleading to police to arrest somebody for 2.5 years, coughing, seeming like indicating maybe she was actually the one who possibly was choked, I hope at the very damn least those freaking public servants take a statement. They didn't even take a witness statement. I'm not sorry for telling y'all that. I'll never be sorry, and there's nothing they can ever do to me to make me sorry. I renew my demand for an investigation into this case, multi-level if necessary, international, UN investigation if necessary, because they do have involved foreign nationals. A diplomat, the head of trade at the Serbian-Danish embassy was on Lima's Who We Are Meet the Team board. High-up executives from American addiction centers were on her board, at least one of them. Serbian scientists were on there. Okay, so no, I'm not sorry. Not sorry. Because you want to know why I didn't do nothing wrong. The fact of the matter is, lies had to be told to get their story out. The fact of the matter was, whenever you just relied on the truth, it's too obvious that I might be a little bit onto something. And by onto something, I mean, why didn't they accurately report to the public Amanda Rabb's cause of death? And instead of just coming out to the public and explaining it to y'all, why did they then lie to this reality television production about me? Why didn't the reality television production, for example, feature the fact that I have won in multiple jurisdictions judgments? Why didn't the reality television production include that Lima's allegations have also not been able to withstand scrutiny in court? I'll admit, when I first watched the documentary, while I was watching it, I was like, this is so much worse than I could have even imagined. The lies, the false statements, the false claims. But all you have to do is look at the views on the trailers. The trailers that get the most views from all of this little progeny are the ones with me in them. There is no reality television production that is going to take that away. People are hungry, thirsty, starving for authenticity. And they're sick and damn tired of being lied to. That's all I really had for today. Facts ain't defamation, and neither are opinions, but you need to watch yourself with the lies. Love you, mean it, okay, bye.
That is from @ThatSurpriseWitness. Okay.
Welcome into my world. You're playing my game. Thought that you could come up and they're fitting off of my knee. Talking out the side of your neck like you're insane. Cortisol levels to the roof. Inflame. Kids these days so shameless. Selling out real friends for a paycheck. Mama didn't teach them no home training. Wanna be me so bad, but they failing. Step to the plate though. I'll take a challenger. I ain't scared of no low life scavenger. I should warn you though, if you haven't heard, I ain't no Colleen ukulele ballanger. Shots been fired. Run and tell that. Say it to my face though. Now behind my back. Won't be long till you share it in a group chat. And when I call you up, you're gonna backtrack. And you should've kept my name out your mouth.